Good evening. Hey, what a beautiful Monday. Even though the 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 storm gods opened the clouds and gave us a little tornadic atmosphere here in the area, it is still a really great day to be alive. Great day to be blessed. Episode 3 of The Assistant Speaks. Yes, I know it's a double plural. It's okay. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Again, hope everyone had a great day, man. Got some really great guests. It is football season. Fall camps have started around the state. So, at the end of the day, gotta make it work, make it work, make it work. As coaches come in from their practices, we'll add them. But right now, we're gonna bring these two young men in and welcome them to the show. In the center is Saint Month's own, and I don't do the sound that I hate that. Saint Month's own Dwayne Thomasy, and to my left, to my left, uh, man, I met this dude, man, and he's just like solid football coach, but an even greater man. And that's, you can definitely give Coach Thomasy the same thing. Both of them have devoted their lives to children. So, hey, we're going to start with Coach Thomasy. Hey, what's up, bro?
What's
Welcome.
happening, man?
Hey,
How
man,
are you?
I'm great, man. Tell the show listeners a little bit about Dwayne Thomasy.
Well, I'm originally from Breaux Bridge, Louisiana. I played for a guy by the name of Coach Michael Mowad, and Coach Mowad was a very positive influence in my life. And after I finished playing, I knew I wanted to coach. I knew I wanted to be like him, you know. And then went to the University of Louisiana at Lafayette, and back then it was USL. I was the last graduating class of USL before the name change.
Okay.
And then, so after that, I started working for Coach Mowat. Once I graduated, I got a job at Breaux Bridge High School, and I stayed there for about 10 years. And
Oh, wow. Great.
went over to Cecilia High School, our offensive coordinator at Breaux Bridge, guy by the name of Terry Martin. Coach Martin got the head job at Cecilia High School, and he wanted to run what we were running on defense in Breaux Bridge at Cecilia. So I moved over. It was a big rival. It was kind of like EA and Santa Monica, Breaux Bridge and Cecilia. They call it the Civil War back there, And so it was a little different, but it was the first time I got a chance to be a defensive coordinator. And it was a great opportunity for me. It was good athletes. It was a good school. Stayed there for about 3 years. And then I got a call from Donaldsonville, Louisiana.
Yeah.
Principal by the name of Gene Harrell was looking for a head football coach at Ascension Catholic. And my wife is from the area. My wife graduated from Santa Monica High School. My father-in-law coached at Santa Monica High School. So when I was offered the Ascension Catholic job, my wife was excited to come back home. And so we moved from St. Martin Parish to Ascension Parish. I was at Donaldsonville. I lived in Donaldsonville for a year while I was coaching at Ascension Catholic. And then I was there for 1 year. And Coach David Swacker here at Santa Monica High School. Coach Swacker called me. They were looking for a defensive guy. He wanted me to come over, and I came over, and I've been here ever since. I've been at Santa Monica High School for 16 years. I worked for David Oliver, who was a longtime college coach. Coach Oliver was at Tulane when Coach Bowden was there, and Rich Rodriguez was there, and they had Sean King. They went 10-0. Then he went to Southern, and he was at the offensive coordinator for Southern for 5 years. And he got into high school ball, and him and I have been together for his tenure here at Santa Monica High School, and he's a pleasure to work for. He's a pleasure to work with, and we have a pretty good staff. We got some hardworking kids, and we're looking forward to 2023 season. So That's me in a
Facts.
nutshell.
So out the gate, you got a chance to be a defensive coordinator. What was that experience for you like in the process of getting your first coordinator's job?
Well, once I got an opportunity, it was a growth process. You know, when I was at Brobridge, I was the low man on the totem pole, but we had guys like Jesse Daniels and John Zenon and Charles Alexander, and those guys all played at LSU for the 2003 national championship whenever Coach Saban was there. So, I didn't know what I didn't know because I had some really, really good players. So we could line up in 50 cover 3, and you know what? We could beat people, more often than not because we had some really, really talented players. And then when I became the DC, at Cecilia High School, we had really good players, but at the same time, we couldn't line up in just a straight 50 cover 3 and be able to compete in the district with the players that we had, knowing that we had to play Brobridge and we had to play St. Martinville and Northside. And, so they had some really, really good football back then. And so getting my first job was a learning experience. And, like I said, I've been doing this for 24 years and I learn something new every day. So I don't portray to have all the answers. We have been very successful here with the talent level that we have over at Sanoma, and we work really hard. But at the same time, our staff grows leaps and bounds every day, and we just try to make each other better. But yes, becoming a DC for the first time is it's a learning experience.
Right. Next up on deck, Coach Greg Boxley, Wasman High School. What's up, Coach?
Man, I'm blessed. And yourself?
Awesome, Coach. Phenomenal. Every day is great for me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. Just thanking God for another opportunity. Like Coach, we just got out that field, man. And just an opportunity, like Coach said, man, had an opportunity to play at Waterproof High School, graduated in 1988, played under Alden McSwain, who was a All-American at Grambling State University. I went on to play college ball at Northeast, which is ULM now, which back then it was NLU under Dave Roberts. Had an opportunity to play under him for 4 years over there. And then I had a different path than Coach did, man. I started off 15 years working at Coca-Cola before I actually got into coaching, man. And so I coached a lot of Pee Wee League teams, and finally I got into junior high, man, at Carroll Junior High, and I coached there for 7 years as a defensive coordinator. And then finally I got up under when Coach Alexander Washington was taken to be the head coach. I became his defensive coordinator. And from there, I coached 4 years as DC there. Now currently the second year over here at Wasman, man. So that's mine in a nutshell. One of my former players, teammates, I should say, is Doug Peterson, who's currently at Jacksonville Jaguars now, man. So I played with some guys, had opportunity to experience some things, and I'm just thankful I'm able to pull back and give back to young men, man.
Right. Your coach's question, Coach Box, and that's how I refer to him. His name is Coach Boxley, but I don't think I've ever called him that since he introduced himself to me.
Yes, sir.
When you went from middle school to high school, what challenges came with that? Other than the game being eons faster, what adjustments did you have to make in the way you saw the game?
Well, one of the biggest things, in junior high, you don't get fired if you win or lose, okay? So you can experiment more in junior high. You can kind of experiment with stuff and figure out what works and what doesn't work without getting out, the axe dropped on your head. And so the biggest thing I found out from junior high to high school, which I already knew, Coach Mack, my high school junior high coach, he was trying to get me to become a DC at the high school level because he felt I was ready. But man, I knew going over there, the time you have to put in. We ask the kids to put in time, but it takes time for coaches as well. And that was the thing that kind of kept me away from it, because just like playing the game itself, you got to be wholeheartedly into it. and you got to be willing to give of yourself. So the biggest thing I found out coming over is the time you have to put in opposed to junior high and high school. You have to put more time in because it's more critical. You know, you can lose your job if you don't take care of your business. So you have to put a lot more time into it. Yes, sir.
Right. Right. And, you know, we sit there, man, and we may laugh at what you said because it was really funny.
Yes,
But
sir.
at the same time, that's a big thing, man, losing your paycheck. Like
Yes, sir. Yes, sir,
that
man.
take you from $8 to $800. So
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
man, that's again, we got a couple of coaches that didn't make it due to practice conflicts, and that's fine because we got two great guys, two really knowledgeable guys here, and so we're just going to talk about defense, how you guys maybe teach coverages and things like that, and so let's start off with what makes football so great, what makes it work, and that's the defensive front. We're going to start off with you, Coach Box. I think in our discussion pre-show, you guys are pretty similar in what you do. Again, for the sake of the show, try not to give your play names away or, you know, what exactly directly y'all run at your particular schools. You know, just maybe how you guys teach it and, you know, alignment, assignment, responsibilities. And that way I'll stay out of trouble with you guys head coaches.
Well, one thing about it, man, if you've seen us if coached against me in the last 6 years, you already know what structure I believe in. We're a four-man surface, and we believe in attacking the ball. I believe in this. This is my philosophy. Offense is now attack. I believe defenses. I came up with defense, and we attack. I believe in us attacking, being aggressive, causing problems, being multiple up front. Yes.
Excuse me
Can you
one
hear me?
second. Right now, we're only on the defensive front.
Front. Okay.
Whether you run a 3-man, 4-man, or some schools even run 5-man fronts at the high school level.
Gotcha.
Only on the defensive front.
Gotcha. And that's what we run, a 4-man front, and we'll go multiple 4 and even to an odd front. So we go back and forth, similar to what Coach was saying earlier. We navigate back and forth depending on what we're facing, what we're seeing that week. We can navigate back and forth from a 4 to a 3-man circuit.
No doubt. Coach, what are you guys, what are some of the things that you guys focus on when you guys are the nuances of what you expect from your front guys? Coach Thomas.
Basically, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, that was for Coach Thomas and Coach Box.
Okay, I got you.
Well, just like Coach, you know, this day and age, you know, offenses, they practice all week against your front. And about 6 years ago, we moved to being multiple, you know, so we're going to give you an even front. We're going to give you an odd front. We're going to change the techniques. You know, we're going to put somebody over your center. We're going to put somebody over your guard. We're going to line up inside shade, outside shade. All right. And the reason why is we want you to work on it all week, you know, because if you line up and you just line up in one front, you know, they have the chalk glass, you know, like Coach said, you know, you want to attack but you want to be able to have the chalk glass so that the offense is adjusting to what you're doing instead of you're adjusting to what the offense is doing. So
right.
The last 5 years, we've become more multiple in what we do and what we teach. And I think that's kind of helped us at times, you know, because it gives us the ability to dictate the offense what our terms want to be.
Right. Coach Box, when you look at from a defensive front perspective,
Yes.
most teams love having a tight end on the field. It gives them a guy that gets to go attack the Mike linebacker. slowing down maybe a little bit, or he blocks to help the sweep or the read option. What's your rule for your defensive end in a situation where the tight end, strong side, blocks down? What's your rule on that?
Well, it just depends on what type of runs we're getting. Are we getting power? Are we getting counter? How my end will play. My end normally we either in a 6-eye, sometimes we'll be a 6, sometimes we're a 9. It just depends on what type of runs we get into the tight end, how we will align to it. So it just depends on what type of offense we're facing, what type of runs we'll get. Depends on how we will play that end on the tight end. Most guys, if they got a good tight end, then probably play him head up and force him to base, because his rules are this. If they're gap scheme, his rules are simple. First inside, head up, you probably base. If he's in a 9, he's gonna kick. It just depends on what type of runs we'll get into that tight end, opposed to how we're gonna play.
Right. Great response, Coach. Coach Thomas, the tight end has been blocking down. They've had the ball 11 plays straight. They're at the 39-yard line.
Yep.
Tight end fakes the block down, runs a seam route. In situations like that, what are you telling your guys on the defensive front? How do you slow them down from getting to the seam route?
Well, just like Coach was talking, there's a few different ways that you can handle that. First thing you're going to do is get hands on. If he's going to go down, we want to squeeze him down, right, and reduce the air. If we're going to cover him with an inside linebacker, we want to make sure we deliver him to the inside linebacker. If he arcs, right, we're going to shuffle out and squeeze. But off of a tight end down, if we're going to play him head up, all right, we're going to surf it. We're going to squeeze him down. We're going to get hands on. All right, we're going to kiss the hip, right, and we're going to look down inside, ball in lane 1, quarterback to us or a puller coming to us, all right, depending on what we get. If
Right.
it's they're playing quarterback read game, right, we're going to play quarterback, and we're going to attack his inside half. We're going to feather it down. If we get a pull to us, we're going to go and we're going to dent that guy. We're going to try to make a short corner, make it turn inside to our help. So first thing I think is you got to get hands on. You can't let the tight end free release. You can't let him go down onto a backer because he's going somewheres, right? If he blocks down, he's going either he's doubling your tackle or your 3 technique, or he's going up to the second level and he's working to your Sam or your Mike.
Right.
So we want to flatten him out first to take some steam out so that we can overlap with a linebacker, right? And we can also play down the line, whether we're getting pulled, like Coach said, gap scheme, power. A lot of his reaction is going to be based on, what he gets coming to him, and so we teach a couple of different techniques. We teach a surf technique, we teach a dent technique, we teach an arc technique, we teach a feather technique, so those guys are kind of, I know in our system, they're like Swiss Army knives. We ask them to do a lot, but a lot of it is it's set up with attacking that tight end, attacking his blocking first.
Man, I love when you guys help me segue into my next question, bro. I absolutely love it. You talked about the read option. As much as the defensive line, no matter the front you run, as much as they're true to being the heart and soul of a defense, your defense is nothing without your linebacker core. And your interior linebacker has to be a guy that's really smart, because he's the one that's giving you pretty much every signal on the field. So I think the rules have kind of changed. Back in the day when we were playing, the rule was always as a linebacker, your first step is always back. I think the rules kind of changed a little bit with the read option and with the spread offense. how have you guys been able to integrate and make the linebacker position unique, even more unique, I should say, from a read option spread perspective? Because we don't have a lot of teams running power I, wing T, straight T. Not a lot of teams run those offenses anymore. So from a coach box, you go second, you take the read option. Coach Thomasy, you go and first, and you take the spread offense. Tell us a little bit about how you guys teach your guys to, from a linebacker only perspective, how you teach your guys to make that position work. Coach Thomasy.
Well, if we're going to handle the spread, first of all, I go into a Friday night with a few different things, goals that we have, and our kids know the first thing that we want to do at Santa Monica High School is stop the run. We have to make offenses one dimensional. Whether it's a spread offense, a power offense, up tempo offense. If you can't stop the run and you can't hang your hat on something, right, then it's going to be a long night for you, right? Yeah. So we go into a football game wanting to stop the run, and our inside linebackers play a very, very pivotal role in there. Their name is linebacker, to back the line. So that's what I tell them all the time. And now we live in the 7-on-7 world, right? So all summer these guys want to go play 7-on-7, and the first step that they want to do is they want to take a step back and drop in coverage. So it takes us, and I'm sure Coach can attest, it takes us about a week or two to get those jokers to start stepping downhill. But if they step backwards, they fire right off the bat. Because we want to, at Santa Monica High School, we want to stop the run first. It's a lonely feeling for a defensive coordinator on a Friday night if you can't stop the run game.
Right.
They can bleed that clock. They bleed the clock on you. They, they can take hole shots when they want. Their run game sets up their play action. So for us, when we coach in our inside linebackers, that's the first thing that we start with. We want to get run keys. We want to stop the run first. And when I tell them play pass second, we got to stop the run. And so that's our mentality at Santa Monica is we're going to go into the game saying that whether you're spread or you are read option, that we're going to play run first, and our linebackers are very important in that regard.
Right. Coach Box.
Yes, sir.
Read option, linebacker.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, man, I'm like Coach Thomas said, man, you go into the game. And for us at Wassman High School, man, when you're in the spread game, read option, man, you're in our world because we got athletes, okay? One of the things that we have to do, like Coach said, to get them retrained with that 7-on-7, okay? But when you come into a game, again, the situation we train our kids that we can, on the read option, we can dictate who we want to have the ball. So you come into a game, you're looking at, okay, who's the better runner? Is it the running back or is it the quarterback? So we dictate that we can gap exchange it. We can attack the mesh point where we can squeeze and pop. There's a number of things we can do to take away the read option in the spread game. And you just have to have multiple ways of doing it when you come into the game. Because at the end of the day, it ain't about confusing a 30 or 40-year-old or 50-year-old offensive coordinator. It's about that 16, 17-year-old kid that don't spend enough time studying tape.
Right. That's
who I'm trying to confuse. And if I have multiple ways of defending him in the spread game and the read option, then that makes it even tough on him. Some people like to surf it, like Coach said. Some people like to attack the mesh point. Whether way you do it, the tomatoes or tomatoes, you just need to be effective at it. And that's what we did today. We did gap exchanging today out of the read. So we work on things like that. So we have multiple ways of defending. So we work on it in practice. So what we do in practice is show up on the game field.
Right. From a linebacker's perspective, and I think this is really important. We know that guys that as they come up through the ranks, They learn terminology. They learn alignment, assignment, execution. You have a young kid, 5'10",
Yes, sir.
175,
Okay.
comes in, has already been playing the linebacker position, kind of familiar with it, but you need a bigger linebacker than the 5'7" guy you got playing linebacker. How do you get a guy like that up to speed as fast as possible without stunning his mental growth? And what I mean by mental is him understanding you're just a freshman. I don't need you to go in there and blow up the play. I just maybe need you to steer it inside or make sure that he isn't able to come back and cut back inside if he's running a sweep or a toss. Or a jet sweeper somewhere the ball is going wide. Somebody, either one of y'all, it don't matter. Both of y'all guys, y'all killing. I like that.
Coach, you go ahead first.
Coach, I don't know, man. That's a rough one there. Because I'm gonna tell you why I say that. There's no substitute for experience. Okay, you're gonna make a young guy like that. You try to put him in a position where he a linebacker, and you may have to dumb it down your defense and keep it as simple as possible for him. Well, like Coach said earlier, you don't want him thinking as much because when he starts thinking, his feet slow down. So I would try to keep it as simple as possible and try to put him in a situation where I give you an example. I say he's a wheel backer to the weak side. Well, I'll probably put that in weak side in a 4 to 4 eye. So now he's automatically know he's C gap.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? I'm gonna try to put it as simple where he don't have a whole lot to think about. He just react.
Right.
That's what a young guy. If I got on the field, I've had that situation. Well, it may cost me here or there. I got to maneuver him like a chess piece on a board to try to make it as simple, but yet compromising the defense at the same time.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yep.
It definitely made sense to me. Coach C.
Tell you what, in 5A, that's a rare occurrence. Just because of the volume of kids that we get. Every once in a while, you'll get that special kid that'll be able to play as a freshman. But Coach hit the nail on the head. What you want to do is you want to give him a certain skill set of tools that he can put in his toolbox so that he can operate fast and play the game. You can slow him down if you give him too much information. So you want to. But you also want to you want to give it to him in a manner to where he grows within your scheme. So you have to have a plan there. You have to have a plan to take him from point A to Z right there. And by the time he finishes his first year, you want him to be a seasoned veteran.
Right.
But you have to start with the basics first, and you might have to keep it simple to initially start so that he can be productive in your scheme. But at the end of the day, you don't want to baby him either. You want to make sure that he's growing, that you're not stunting his growth, but that you're giving it to him when he's ready. We're a big guard read team, so if we can give you the tools to read the guard, right, and give him, hey, this is your world here. This is your reaction off of this key. This is your world. Then we feel that doesn't matter if you're a freshman, junior, sophomore, or a senior. If you understand what your keys are, you're going to be able to play football. Football's still about blocking and tackling, and getting your butt to the football.
Right.
At the end of the day, I don't care if the guy's an 8th grader. If he can find his way to the football, he going to play.
Yes, sir.
Right. Hey, Coach, you said that multiple times. And I just absolutely love that from a defensive guy. At the end of the day, I don't care how you get it done. Just make the tackle before that 2-inch strike. Hey, this part right here, man, is uber important. It is the heart and soul of really being able to stop the spread or the read option, and that's the secondary. which as we know, and this is not football for dummies. We know it's corners and safeties. Uh, when you look at the coverages, when you look at the coverage from a defensive perspective, I'm gonna throw this one out there. I think it's really one of my least favorite defenses, period, ever in life. I hate this defense, and that's the 3-3-5 because it doesn't give you anything to me. You're not gonna get any pressure in the trenches. You spread your linebackers out a little far because now two of the middle linebackers, the backers have to cheat up some to help protect the run. And so from that variety, let's talk about covering the spread and read option. Coach Box, since you got read option last time, we're going to give you the spread. And Coach Thomasy, you catch the read option. Coach Box, let us have it.
Oh, spread, man. Defending the spread from the secondary standpoint, you're asking?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we over here at Wasserman, man, I believe in started with, first of all, giving split field coverage. What you get on the strong side is not necessarily what you're going to get on the other side. A lot of people believe in playing mirror coverage, where you play what you play and say cover two on both sides. Cover two. I believe in giving to the read side, you play one thing. Away from the read side, we play something else. I believe at the end of the day, you still have to have corners that can cover, and you still have to have safeties, the overhangs that be able to run the alley and tackle. So it's going to come down to that. But I'm a big proponent on split field coverages. I believe in what you play on one side, you're not necessarily play on the other side, because now coaches got to be able to coach, because then the quarterbacks got to be able to understand what you're getting over here is not necessarily what you're going to get over there. You can't run mirrored routes, because what's open on this side may not be open on the other side.
Right.
So that's my philosophy on that. And at the end of the day, it still come down to that deep front, because you still got to be able to get pressure to people, because if you got all day to throw, it don't matter what you do back there. Somebody going to be open.
Fact.
Yes, sir.
Coach Thomasy.
Yep. All right. When we're talking about read option, the evolution of the RPO has
it's great, isn't it?
Well, it's great if you're a fan. If you're a defensive coordinator, it's not too great. I'll just tell you that. It makes life difficult, and that's, hey, look, man, that's the evolution of football. Football has changed, and over the last 5 years, if you're not researching, you're not studying, you're gonna get passed by. But when we're talking about the read option, number one, I think you have to take the quarterback, all right, and make him make the calls.
Right.
So a lot of teams will check with me. A lot of teams call, they sideline check. The coach on the sideline, he's going to call his best play based on what your best alignment is, and that's just the world we live in.
Right.
So I think you got to disguise. I think you got to hold disguises. I think you got to play, like Coach is talking about, playing multiple coverages. I think you got to change gears, and I don't think you can live and die in the same thing, down in and down out. You got to be able to show two high. You got to be able to show one high and roll. You got to be able to show man and play press bail. You have to have some tools in the toolbox to help your kids, because if you just line up in straight cover 3, they're going to run 4 verticals on your butt all night. If you line up in cover 2, they're going to run smash route on your butt the whole night. So I think you got to be multiple. We were talking the other day, because we're trying to break in a freshman defensive back coach here at school, and he was asking, Coach, what's your favorite coverage? And I said, favorite coverage is the coverage that prevents touchdowns. That's my favorite. But there are some people out there that believe in just playing man to man. There's some people that believe in playing cover 3. To me, it doesn't matter what you do, what coverage you play. your kids have to know the nuances within the coverage. They have to
Right.
know the strengths of the coverage, and they also have to know, man, what are the things that we have to protect ourselves against in this coverage? All right. If I'm gonna play cover two, what are the cover two beaters? Okay. And I think
Right.
we work hard at teaching them, all right, you're in this coverage, but this is how the offense is gonna try to attack this coverage, you know. And if you teach it that way, they can hold disguises longer. They know what they're getting because the guys on the other side over there are calling routes to beat that coverage that they see. So
Right.
I think it gives them a little bit more. It gives them a little bit more tools in the toolbox to help them be successful. If they know, man, I got to really this concept is going to match this coverage, and that's why we're playing it. Here's the strengths and here's the weaknesses. But the read option, I think you definitely have to mix it up. You have to change who your reads are, because most RPO teams, most read option teams, they're going to read either level 1 or level 2 or level 3. They're
Right.
reading the outside linebacker that's on the line, in the zone read game. Then, they're going to read that second level defender and throw that slant right behind his ear, and then, man, now these jokers are starting to read third level safeties. It is what it is, but I think the way you combat that is you have to play multiple stuff behind it. You have to hold coverages a little longer, a little disguises.
Right. I'm going to give y'all different scenarios. Again, I keep swapping it up because I just, I'm just different like that. So it's 2020, Coach Thomasy. You guys play the EA Spartans. And as a receiving core, you have Steve. I just had that boy name in my mind. You guys, Stephen McBride.
Yep.
You got Hobart Grayson the fourth, and you got Javen Johnson at the slot. Stephen and Hobart are your two wideouts. Javen at the slot. What play that they ran that, to your recollection, from the spread point of view, that gave you guys a little trouble? And Coach Box, for you, it's 2022. 2022. Wiseman is playing the Union Parish Farmers. And
Trey Holly, man. Out of all people, you give me Trey Holly.
Yeah. The guy named, man, Trey Holly.
I know, 4 years I had it.
Yeah,
in my district. I had to look at it for 4 years.
Yeah.
And so, Coach Thomas, since you got your question first, you've had a minute to think. You come on and explain to us how you handle a receiving core trio like those guys that, Hobart and Steven were really fast. Jaden was a really solid route runner, especially in the short passing game, short yardage passing game. And Coach Box, hell, I don't know if you could have put 15, 16 men on the field and really got an effective way to stop Trey Harden from the read option. So let's go, Coach Thomasy.
Well, the young men that you just explained were exceptional athletes. All four of them were fantastic. They were all great route runners. They were all physical, and they all brought some athleticism to the table. Again, if you sit back and you defend those guys in one coverage, they're going to make your night very, very long and very miserable. I think the big thing when you're facing guys like that is you have to mix it up. You have to play some different coverages, and you have to take some chances. You have to pick your spots, and when you're going to blitz, you have to pick your spots when you're going to attack the protection, because at the end of the day, you got to make the quarterback beat you.
Right.
If the quarterback can't beat you, if he's not willing to sit in that pocket, if he has happy feet, if he's not willing to keep his eyes down the field, then I'm gonna make you sweat a little bit. and we did that to a few of those quarterbacks back then. Making them move, all right, making them throw it a little bit faster than they want to throw it, making him get off his spot and changing his launch point. Because if you expect to go toe to toe with the athletes that you described, it doesn't matter what secondary you're playing in the state of Louisiana. Those four guys were gifted, and they could make any secondary, much less mine, have a long night. But I think to start off with, you got to attack the offensive protections. You got to do your homework. All right. Are they going to be a full slide? Are they going to be a pin? What are they going to do in protection? Is the back going to check it out? Is the back going to stay in and protect? All right. And whenever you find out those tendencies, how they're going to protect that quarterback, you better start attacking those protections because, and at times it might be bringing one more than they can protect. That sometimes it may be creating zone blitzes and dropping guys out, but you definitely can't play man-to-man against those guys all night, and you definitely can't play cover 3 against them all night. So you're going to have to play some too high. You're going to have to roll some coverages. Right, you're going to have to play some man at times and bring one more than they can protect. But I think the whole thing is doing your homework and finding out the tendencies. What did that offensive coordinator like to call on 1st and 10? What does he like to call in 2nd and medium? When's he going to call his shot play? When it's 3rd down, will a quarterback roll to his right? Is he right-handed? Does he like to sit in that pocket? Or is he a one-look guy? Is he going to look at the slot? And if the slot's not there, take off and run. You got to know those things. You got to know who you're dealing with, because if you're going to just say, hey, I'm going to have a plan for those 4 guys that are out there, right, it's going to be a long night. Right. But if the quarterback can't get it to those 4 guys, right, then your night just became a little bit easier. So that's what we look at.
Right. Coach Box, containing Trey Holly from a read option standpoint. I'm sorry. That probably is really unfair.
I'm trying to figure out when Union ran a read. I think it wasn't no read. They were power all day long. Never no read.
Downhill, baby.
It's handed off to Trey Holly. I know that, but we got to have some kind of imaginary imagination, Coach.
If we running read, I'm getting it out of his hand. I'm bending and chase. I ain't giving him opportunity. I'm getting it out of his hand. That quarterback, like Coach said, he gonna have to keep that ball. It's just unfortunate they ain't good.
Coach, really? He was phenomenal, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So you got to tell me I looked at it for 4 years. I only beat him once. So, and here's what people don't understand. It wasn't so much. Trey was great, but man, every year they had them big old guys up front, man. Them suckers blocked, man. I remember in 2020 when I was at Carroll, and we went in at halftime down 8-6. He had a run of 80 yards on us. They ran the lead ISO, and we didn't fit it. The backside wheelbacker over scrape, and Trey found the seam and hit it and went 80. We went in at halftime down 8-6. That was the only run he had in that first half. But Coach, like I know, a good back, you ain't gonna hold him down all night because he gonna keep hammering away. The best defense you have against him is a good offense, because once you get him down, now you got to get them out their element. Right. As long as they stay comfortable putting it in his belly, no matter if you come up with a 50 front, you came up with a 4-man front, a mint front, it don't matter. Them suckers gonna block you, man. I remember again in 2020 we were at Carroll, they running that counter. And that guard told Coach Spat, you can hear him out because we ain't had that many fans in the stadium because of COVID. You can hear that kid say, Coach, keep running that counter. Keep running it, Coach. So, because they kicking and pinning and kicking, Coach. And they loved it. And Trey just get in there. You talking about the offensive lineman was 6'2", 290, 280, and they were built for it, Coach. They loved that because they knew they had a guy behind them. All they had to do was create a crease. He was gone.
Right. That's going to be fun, man. I'm telling you, that's going to be so much fun.
So we looked at film on them, man. We did all we could. We changed fronts. I mean, man, we did all we could. But the main thing is one up front. You got to have some D linemen that they sold out for that. And they got to be for that for 4 quarters. Hit those guys in the mouth. If you flinch at all, they going to get you, man.
All right. Well, I got another one for you then. Since I gave you an unfair question.
Yeah, yeah. You talking about a kid that played in three straight state championship games?
All right, so quarterback fakes the handoff, stands up, reviews the field, and now he's checking down. He's making the safest 4-yard pass, 3-yard pass that he can make. How are you covering your check down guy in the flat?
That depends on down and distance. If you want to be checked down, Charlie, early in the down, we'll give you check down. But if it's for a first down, then we know you're trying to get the sticks, then we're going to try to rob you of that. So it depends on down and distance what we're looking for.
All right, okay. I'm with all that. But what are you telling your guys in response to how to see and where they need to be in regards to spacing with maintaining their regular field of coverage and being in a great vicinity of the check down guy so that he don't get an opportunity to catch the ball, face upfield, and make a play, because this guy is also a playmaker. If he gets the ball in his hand, he can make the first and second guy miss.
That's a couple of things. One is knowing where that guy is. If I'm studying film, like Coach said earlier, alluded to, then I know who they guys are. So now if I know who they guys are that they like to go to, especially if it trips and they put the guy in the 2 hole, that's their guy. Because most people in trips, the 2 is the one they mostly go to. So if I know that, we cover from top down. So we want to make sure we understand we cover from the top of the route down. So we want to make sure not only that, but know where that guy is, that he has the potential to throw the ball to his guy. We try to take him away.
Man,
that's based off, and again, that's based off down distance. What are you trying to do? You know, where are you on the field? All of this stuff comes to play on it.
Great job, Coach. Great job, man. I got a little surprise for y'all. Y'all ready for it?
Yes, sir.
It's called a busted play.
Okay.
What side of the ball is the busted play on?
Well, hopefully it's on the offensive side.
I'm about to say, is that a trick question?
In our line of work, when we get a bus, it usually means 6 points.
Yes, sir. That scoreboard gonna light up.
Hey, all right. So here we go.
Approaching against the defense. 4 down, weather.
Drops back. Oh, wide open. Touchdown.
I can tell you now from looking.
Approaching against the defense.
My bad, Coach Box. I was trying to give y'all the play a couple of times so y'all can see what the offense is running and what the defense is running, and because the play happened quick.
It looked like they were 2 by 2.
Yep, they were.
Gun back in the pistol.
Yeah. So you're going to get some type of high-low, some type of high-low concept. So right then, it looked like it was a communication between the corner and the safety.
That's correct.
Y'all want to see that again?
I saw when I saw number 1 down the sideline, that means they probably covered 2. He thought he was squatting, and 2 went flat. Safety got. I ain't need to see no more. I knew it.
He thought he had help over the top.
Yes, sir. Somebody didn't get to where they supposed
to. Say. So now, same offensive formation.
Okay.
Same offensive formation. St. Amont's defending that against Logansport. Wiseman's defending that against Logansport. How do you keep that from being 6?
Make sure your guys, first of all, we big on communication. Communicate the coverage. Make sure the safety and corner on the same page. We know that what we are doing, we're seeing the same thing. Corner eyes should be on 2, safety eyes should be on 2. And so now that's the main thing, the communication part, knowing what we're playing. Know everybody on the same page, because that looked like on that play, that was a lack of communication. And anytime you have a lack of communication, that's what you're going to have. I'm going to say this in regard, whenever you go into military terms, the first thing that people, when they attack you, enemy army, they're gonna attack your communication line. And anytime you can break down in communication, that's when you have those type of problems. Somebody didn't communicate.
Thanks. Coach Steve.
Right. That is correct. So for us, you know, like Coach said, we're going to make sure that we're communicating. Second thing is if we're going to play cover two like that team was playing right there, all right, we're going to be hands-on number one. You know, we're going to reroute that guy and funnel him to make that safety's job a little bit easier.
Yes, sir.
One with our feet and two with our eyes. So, you know, we're going to, as we're funneling number one, we're going to have eyes on number two. From the outside backer, he's playing two with his feet and one with his eyes. So as both of those guys are vertical, we're going to carry the two verts and we're going to put overlap with the safety over the top. One of those guys sit down, you know, depending on which one sits down, we have to communicate that route. So we're big on, like Coach said, we're big on communication. So if they're getting two verticals, those guys are calling vertical, vert the whole time that guy's running it. If that guy sits down, that corner's going to say hitch. All right. If number two breaks out, he's going to yell out. All right. So I tell our guys, you want to communicate in a manner to make the next player better because you want to help him do his job.
Right.
And if you have the information and you're not sharing that information, then you're not making him better because you want him to do the same thing to you.
Yes.
You know? And if we can do that, then everybody's on the same sheet of music, right? And everybody's playing together, and there's not going to be those breakdowns. But like Coach said, when one guy doesn't say something, you know, it's usually because he's unsure, you know, and the way you be sure is if you believe what you see and you call it out, then there's no questions. You know, everybody's on the same sheet of music, you know, so communication's big, you know, and I think that, like Coach said, that was a lack of communication in that coverage call.
Right. From a perspective of press 5-7 yards deep, from the outside receiver or the slot, Coach Box take the slot, Coach Thomasy take the outside receivers. What's your principles that you teach your kids in defending the slot versus the outside?
Are we playing zone or are we playing man?
That's your. I'm not telling you what to play. I ain't gonna tell you what to play on Friday night. I can't tell you what to play in your summation.
I got you. All right. Well, for us, you know, when we're dealing with a number one outside, you know, you got to find out, number one, what their offensive philosophy is. You know, are they a slot-driven team? Do they put their best athlete in the slot, which a lot of people do? You know, or do they put their stud at the number one and they like to throw them jump balls or back shoulder fades? You know, a lot of people put those quick guys in the slot and run the corners and run the, you know, the smash concepts. And so I think a lot of it has to do with what you're getting, you know, what you're trying to take away. You know, at Sandoval High School, you know, I like to blitz. I'm an aggressive dude. When I step off the bus, I want to blitz, but I want to blitz smartly, right? Because I want the chalk. You know, I want the pen in my hand. You know, if I sit back in base and let you attack, you know, I just don't have those type of kids. But if our kids, they buy into playing one certain way, and we're going to punch you in the mouth before you punch us in the mouth.
Yes,
so
sir.
We have to send pressure. And to do that, I tell them, you got to give me 4 seconds. If you can give me 4 seconds and you can cover in man coverage for 4 seconds, then, you know, we can attack the protection and we'll get a guy home. You know, so if we're going to play press on number one, we're going to be inside lever, right? We're going to motor out. We don't jab step laterally. We're going to motor. I'm going to let you dance. I'm going to let you foot fire. I'm going to let you declare. When you declare, I'm either going to offhand kick, stick you, or if you cross my cylinder, we're going to two-hand press you, flatten you out. But we're going to occupy your time for 4 seconds to let that blitz come home. And usually when we don't do it is because they get beat at the line of scrimmage and they don't master those techniques up front.
Right. Right. Coach Box. Slot
Yes, sir.
Slot principle.
Top principal zone coverage, and we call cover two coverage.
Don't
Hey,
give away no name.
Coach, I'm sorry. I'm so used to talking, man. I apologize. But anyway, start there with our inside defender. We teach. He's a hook defender. He's gonna get his hands on two, and like Coach said, gonna deliver him to the safety with the inside hands on his inside pad to try to reroute him if possible. If reroutes are possible, because sometimes teams will condense their formation and won't allow for reroute. So then, if they condense it, then we get to our drop. But mainly, if they're in a position where we can reroute, we want to reroute that seam of that number two receiver. That's basically what we do on the inside half. Get our hands, push the two, look into one.
Right.
With our eyes on one.
Right. Man, Coach Thomas, do you remember the last thing I told you before we came on air?
What's that?
Do you remember the last thing I told you before we came on air?
No, not really. Sometimes I don't remember what I ate for breakfast.
We related then, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
So the last thing I told you before we came on air was that the hour goes by fast.
Oh yeah, it does.
And we're at the end. We're at the close. And so the first thing that I have to do is I have to apologize. I thought I had switched the life off the bench ticker off and put the prep news ticker on. I didn't do that. It was running life off the bench for half the show. Forgive me for that. But hey, I mess up sometimes.
Good.
Yeah. But I'm telling you, man, I've had a phenomenal time. I hope that the viewers who watch this show, I hope that they learned a ton from you guys, because you guys gave a ton of information away. And again, hey, y'all don't be afraid to share this. If you know young coaches who don't know terminology, who don't know schematics, who don't know nuances and how to be technical from a coach's standpoint in teaching technique, man, y'all better send this to them coaches. Don't y'all be that doggone selfish to keep all this information to yourselves and not help grow and expand this game that we love.
Yes.
Yep. You're right.
Please help grow and expand the game. Final thoughts, Coach Thomas.
Say again.
Final thoughts,
man. Hey, thanks for having us, man. It's been fun. You know, we're getting ready to get busy. I know Coach has got the same thing going on over at Walsman, man. It's a busy time of year for us. You know, but it's also a fun time of year. This is why we do it. You know, we love working with kids. We love working with student athletes. We're excited for the school year. We're excited for another year. And I enjoyed being here, enjoyed meeting Coach. And good luck this year, man. If I can do anything to help you guys, don't hesitate, man. Y'all know y'all got my number. Hit me up.
Facts. Coach Box.
Man, I tell you, man, it's been a blessing to listen to Coach Thomas, the years of experience. And, man, to you, thank you for having us on, man, because life is about relationships, man. And I've been blessed to be able to be on tonight with two great men, man. And I appreciate y'all so much. And, Coach, I'm going to reach out to you because there's certain things I'd like to know how you handle the 11 personnel with why on or why off. It's always good to have multiple ways of defending stuff in your tool bag, man. You can never have too much. And the Bible say iron sharpen iron. So when you find somebody that's been in this game as long as Coach Thomas, you want to learn and listen and get some stuff because he can share with you, man. You be surprised, man. I'm always like a sponge. I like to get stuff, knowledge, man. The more knowledge you get, the more power you get, man. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you for the opportunity, man.
No doubt. And my final thoughts is thank you to Coach David Oliver at St. Amant High School, because Coach Thomas is still at work. Thank you to Coach Terrence Cahey,
yes, sir.
School, because Coach Thomas is still at work.
yeah, I'm still here, man. I'm the last one here.
Yeah, I feel you, Coach. I feel you.
Man,
Yes, sir.
it really has been a blessing for me to be on. Again, as much as I think I know, I've never been a high school football coach. I've never been a college football coach. I'm just a student of high school athletics. I give my all in doing my research and my homework so that when I come on, I'm knowledgeable about what I'm saying. I do not want to come on here and look stupid at any point. So I work my hind part off to make sure that I'm right, because I don't ever like to be wrong. And with that being said, thank you guys. Thank you, men. And y'all know what it is. Remember, get off the bench, get into the game.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.